Citrus made California the Golden State. Spanish missionaries planted California's very first orange and lemon trees at Mission San Diego de Alcala in 1769. By the time the gold rush hit in 1849, oranges were in huge demand to combat scurvy. That was just the beginning of California's citrus. Over the years, citrus has brought far more money into the state than gold ever did. California's citrus industry really took off with the introduction of this, the Washington navel. This sweet seedless fruit was found growing on a tree in Brazil. Cuttings were sent to Washington, D.C., hence the name Washington navel. The USDA sent 2 of those trees to Eliza Tibbetts, who planted them in her backyard in Riverside, California. Under Eliza's care, the trees produced large, sweet, seedless fruits that ripened in winter. They were easy to peel, and they had a thick skin that made them suitable for packing and shipping. By 1900, the Washington navel orange was California's biggest citrus crop. When I was a child, orange and lemon groves blanketed Southern California. But as that land grew more valuable for houses than for orchards, those groves migrated north. Today, California's citrus industry pumps $2 billion into our economy every year. And while it faces some big challenges, it's still growing strong, as we'll see today on A Growing Passion. California's first commercial orange grove was planted in Los Angeles in 1840. 175 years later, California oranges are considered the best in the world, and they command top dollar in countries like China, Singapore, and Malaysia, and Hong Kong. Some of those oranges come from right here at Rancho Monte Vista in Palma Valley, right near San Diego County's northern border. Andrew Lyle first planted these orchards in the 1940s. Through careful stewardship, this operation has been passed down through 3 generations. And now, his grandson Warren is making room for the 4th generation, sons Tim and Andy, to take over the family farm.
We are very fortunate. We look around at our neighbors, and there really are no others that enjoy the same benefit that I have of having their boys working here. Andy and Tim have really picked up the load and are doing the daily work.
How many acres of citrus?
There's 160 acres of citrus, and then the whole farm total is 200 acres.
Tim, what kind of oranges are on these trees?
These are Valencias. That's what's known as the summer orange. Navels are the ones that would be ripe right now in the winter. Because of where we are in Palma Valley with our climate, we can actually hold them as late as October or November, which gives us a pretty good marketing window where we can pick and try to hit the market at a good profitable time.
The Lyles grow their Valencias on 160 acres, where they also grow Caracara navels that ripen in late winter, and an Australian orange called Powell that ripens in spring. That combination gives them oranges to pick and send to market just about year-round.
Last year we had 136 acres of Valencia oranges in production, and we produced 8.5 million pounds.
The Lyles sell their fruit under the Sunkist brand. Sunkist is a farming cooperative formed to help farmers get the best price for their fruits around the world. The Lyles orange crop brings in enough to support 3 families. You might think that growing citrus is a pretty straightforward process. Plant a tree, water it, harvest the fruit. But there's much more to having a successful operation. Here's a fun fact. It takes 7 gallons of water to produce 1 orange. Water can make or break a citrus orchard. Citrus trees need to be irrigated year-round. This farm has its own wells, so while water is inexpensive, it's not unlimited. So the Lyles installed soil moisture sensors to monitor their orchards. That way they can water as much but not more than the trees need. Tim, how do you know when your trees need to be watered?
Well, we have this station, and it measures the amount of water that's in the soil in centibars. And so there are different depths that we have right here that we can check. And what I can tell right here is that we almost need to turn the water on.
And you know, because of the amount of moisture in the soil.
Exactly.
Why is it so important to be that aware of how wet the soil is?
Well, we don't want to overwater the trees, but the last thing that you want to do is underwater the trees. So since water is such a precious resource that we have, we need to be really, really careful with it. And this gives us a scientific method for measuring how much water is actually there so we can know when to irrigate.
Plus, it takes electricity to pump water into orchards, and that costs nearly $100,000 a year. The brothers set out to find a way to minimize that expense.
When I came into the family business a few years back, I opened up the books to see what our big costs were and our major expenses. And I saw that power was one of them, that the power to pump our well water and irrigate our groves. And so I thought a solar array would be a great way to offset and fix that cost.
Give me an idea of how much money's worth of power you're able to offset with the solar array.
About $80,000 a year. It's going to depend on the weather and how much we need to pump, like how much water we need to pump each year. But that's the goal, and that's about where we're at.
So that will help make sure that generation number 5 can be here?
I sure hope so.
Controlling fixed costs helps increase the efficiency of the Lyle's operation. But there's another threat on the horizon. Warren, what is this?
That marks a tree that is being surveyed for HLB and ACP. Asian citrus psyllid is the insect that carries a disease called huanglongbing, or citrus greening. The disease is fatal to citrus trees, and we're trying as an industry in California to avoid being caught with our trees getting sick. And so we have people who regularly come through here and survey this tree looking for the psyllid insect.
The threat is so serious that the Lyles, who have long practiced integrated pest management, now have no choice but to spray their orchards to keep HLB from getting hold.
Nowadays we have to spray pesticide sprays that we don't like to do. We through the years have depended primarily on the balance of beneficial insects controlling the pest insects. And anytime you spray, you tend to upset that balance. It means that now we have to introduce this new spray that we don't really like to do, but we don't have a choice. It will be a matter of survival for us.
The Lyle family, like citrus growers before them, must adapt to the inevitable changes that come with time, nature, and market pressures. As the orchard passes into generation number 4, the family cares deeply about its responsibilities and its stewardship.
And so we have to be careful how we treat the land. We hope one day to see our grandsons farming this land, and so we need to be careful with it. Stewardship is an important part of farming. That's what keeps it sustainable from generation to generation.
Genetic diversity is important for the adaptability and survival of every species on Earth. Gene banks are where plant and animal genes are collected and stored so they can be studied and used into the future. At UC Riverside, there's a gene bank solely for citrus. It's called the Citrus Germplasm Repository, and it's run by the USDA. This is the Fort Knox of citrus, a secure facility that houses the gold, citrus genetics from around the world. Germplasm is the part of a plant used to propagate new plants, so that would be a seed or even the tip of a branch. That makes this citrus repository a Noah's Ark of nearly every kind of citrus that's been discovered so far. Scientists use these plants in their research and for breeding.
This is number 19. It's TL1032289 is a positive. Our collection is an effort by the U.S. Department of Agriculture to preserve genetic resources of citrus, and this is important for research projects all over the world.
Citrus originated in northern India, southern China, and Southeast Asia. But today, citrus is bred and grown all throughout the warmer regions of the world. When a new kind of citrus comes into the U.S., its first stop is this secure facility. Kruger and his team quarantine each new acquisition so they can evaluate it and treat it for potential insects, diseases, or pathogens. So
This is thermotherapy. It's one of the ways we potentially get rid of viruses from plants is using heat.
So you're actually killing the virus with the heat you're cooking them.
Right, it's about 104 degrees.
It's really warm. Once each specimen is clean, the researchers grow it out so they can analyze it. They take samples of DNA and perform different assays to characterize each new plant. They also take a tiny amount of newly cleaned budwood and graft it onto a tiny seedling that serves as a rootstock. The budwood tissue is made up of the plant's growing cells. Those cells are referred to as meristem.
What we want to see is this little tiny tip to grow out of the ledge on the top. And the tips are smaller than a period on a paper.
Wow.
So it's kind of interesting.
See that?
Yeah, well, I can see it with the help of the microscope back there.
And the goal is to
Produce disease-free trees.
These plants are then grown in heavily protected greenhouses where scientists test and observe their characteristics, including their disease resistance.
What do we get to look at here?
Okay. There's basically two components. One is in the lab, the other we do here in the greenhouse by what we call biological indexing. And that's done by inserting the tissue of the test plant into the indicator plant. And after the wound heals, the virus, if it's present, can spread throughout the rest of the plant. Here's one that's our positive control. We know this has a virus in it.
Can I have this?
And we can see the shock symptoms here.
All of the information is logged into a database used by researchers and plant breeders and other people who are interested in traits like plant size, metabolism, and genetic variation. Researchers rely on the germplasm repository as a source for clean plant materials, whether cuttings or seeds. This facility also maintains specimens of citrus wild relatives. They're a source of genes that are potentially resistant to new pests and diseases, or that offer a valuable characteristic for new breeding.
So these are trifoliates, and these are a relative of our regular citrus that is deciduous, more like an apple tree or a grapevine or something.
So you mean it loses its leaves in the winter?
It loses leaves in the winter, and it has fruit that you really wouldn't enjoy eating, but it's been a very important genetic resource for us as far as providing genes for disease resistance.
One of these scientists' most surprising discoveries is that most common citrus, like oranges and grapefruits and lemons, are not their own individual species, but rather natural crosses of different kinds of citrus. Besides collecting and preserving known species, these researchers go out into the wild to look for undiscovered citrus and bring their genetics back too.
We're interested in doing plant explorations and seeing if there's any potentially wild citrus growing in its center of origin, which is Southeast Asia, that might be important to bring in and incorporate. We're hoping to go to Vietnam. Vietnam is a center of certain types of citrus, like pomelos, and some of the pomelos are expected to possibly be resistant to the Wan Long Bing bacterium. If we were to find a type of citrus that was resistant to the Wan Long Bing, that'd be a very useful tool for breeders to hopefully incorporate into more commercial types of citrus, which in turn would help ensure the security of the citrus industry in the face of this threat.
As wild citrus native habitats are lost to development, this facility becomes even more valuable for conserving citrus genetics. The genetics stored here and the potential they contain are being used to solve agricultural challenges today and address new challenges into the future. The orchard that surrounds the germplasm repository is very unusual. There are more than 1,000 different kinds of citrus here, all part of the UC Riverside Citrus Variety Collection. This collection was started in the early 1900s as part of what was then called the Citrus Experiment Station. It was a facility that developed best orchard practices, studied crop production, disease resistance, and the like, all to support Riverside's developing citrus industry. University of California, Riverside actually evolved from the Citrus Experiment Station and has been at the forefront of citrus research ever since. When you go to the supermarket or the farmer's market, you might find 5 or 6 or 7 varieties of citrus. But here at the University of California, Riverside's Citrus Variety Collection, there's 1,000 varieties of citrus from all around the world. Ever hear of a Bessie sweet orange, an Australian finger lime, or a Kishu mandarin? Those are just a few of the unusual citrus that grow in these fields. This collection is used by growers and researchers and breeders who find the genetics they need in these trees rather than having to travel the world. Researchers have used this collection to breed more than 40 new varieties of citrus, and genetics from work done here are found in every orange, lemon, tangerine, and grapefruit sold in the supermarket today. I'm on tour with Tracy Kahn, who's curator of the collection. I can't wait to see some of the odd and unusual citrus and to sample some of the new varieties that haven't yet reached market.
You can see.
Ooh, it's pink and it's shaped like a heart.
Yes.
So that's why you call it Valentine?
That's why we call it Valentine, on top of the fact that it also matures around Valentine's Day.
Ah.
See, it's kind of neat because it looks like it has, like a stained glass window.
So if I hold this up, I can see it. That's beautiful. Oh, that's delicious. A bit of grapefruit flavor in there, really sweet, because it reminds me of a red grapefruit, just a little bit.
Just a little bit because, in fact, not one of the parents is a sweet orange. The other thing is it doesn't have a lot of acid, you might have noticed. And the reason it doesn't have a lot of acid is that the pomelo is actually, the parent is a low acid pomelo.
That is delicious. Valentine is at the beginning of the commercial pipeline, soon to follow varieties bred here and already widely known, like the Clementine Mandarin and the Oro Blanco, which is actually a pomelo grapefruit hybrid. Now, you don't peel anything.
I can, but the nice thing about not peeling it is that you get to then see the whole cut surface. This is actually what we call Tango, and it was developed here at UCR.
I'd like my bedroom painted that color.
Yeah, no, that's a really nice color. Really brightly colored. Would you like to taste it?
Absolutely.
Okay. I could have peeled this one really easy.
So 2 little sections. That is so good. That's tangerine. To me, that's tangerine. To create a new variety, breeders choose the parents based on characteristics like fruit size or production, disease resistance, shipping qualities, flavor, and color.
This ruby is one that's used by breeders, and it's not a commercial variety.
So why would a breeder be interested in it if it's not good
Because
enough to be a
it confers color on its progeny.
Oh, so this is the source of the color, not necessarily the flavor.
Right.
Heirloom varieties are here too.
This is Dancy. You're not going to see this in the market very much anymore because this is like an old-fashioned mandarin. This is like more of an heirloom type thing. But this is one of the parents for Valentine.
So why isn't it marketed very much? How did it fall out of flavor? Oh, the seeds?
Yeah.
So the seeds are what made this one fall out of favor.
I think the seeds mostly, yeah, maybe size. For a while people were looking for mandarins that were a little bit bigger, but definitely seeds.
Oh, tart. All the salivary glands are going, woo! That's good. I like the flavor. It's real tart.
Yeah, it's tart.
The unique fruits in this grove have been the source of important research, new discoveries, and endless inspiration. This collection ensures that for now and into the future, there will be many more delicious discoveries to come. California's early citrus growers weren't commercial growers. They were mostly backyard growers, a practice that continues today. In fact, nearly 70% of California gardens include at least one lemon or lime or orange tree. Lloyd Dillon is one of the people responsible for the citrus trees that grow in your backyard. In the 1940s, Dillon realized that most of California's home gardens were too small for the standard 20-foot tall trees. So Dillon worked with researchers at the University of California to create grafted trees that are scaled-down versions of the standards. The trees they developed have beautiful evergreen leaves and tasty fruits, just like the standards, and they produce plenty. But their trunks and their branches are shorter, so they fit nicely in a home garden, or even in a large container on the patio. Dylan founded Four Winds Growers Nursery to specialize in semi-dwarf trees for home gardens. Four Winds produces more than 60 varieties at their growing grounds in Winters, Watsonville, and Fremont, California. Some are unusual and hard to find. Ed Livo is marketing manager at Four Winds. He took me on a tour of their Winters greenhouses.
Can we do a little citrus parade?
Absolutely. Are you kidding? You want to march?
Yeah, what is this one?
Oh, Mineola Tangelo.
And what are these?
These are mandarins.
Different kinds of mandarins?
Yes, absolutely.
I see we have the lemons.
That's the lemon brigade there.
This is beautiful, the variegated leaves. Variegated pink lemonade?
Yep, variegated pink.
And, oh.
The Buddha's hand. Isn't that great? The factor is pretty high on that one, I agree.
You know, just, people always say, this isn't real, is it?
Yeah, Mother Nature really pulled a fast one on all us, I think at that.
I see your oranges.
Oranges are great.
And these guys?
Kumquats, exciting category.
I love kumquats. So I have this one in my backyard.
Nagami, the most popular of all.
Yeah, but what's this?
Fukushu, this is one of the newer ones. This has all the attributes of the Nagami. You eat the entire piece of fruit, but it's a little less acidic and beautiful foliage, almost Schefflera-like. Really beautiful plant.
At Four Winds, there's just about every type of citrus I've ever heard of, and some I'd never seen before.
Australian finger lime.
So is that the little caviar inside?
That's the caviar. Let's see if I can just go ahead and get a little bit of that on the knife blade like that. How do you like that?
Can I taste it?
Sure you can.
They're like little round eggs.
They are, just like caviar, huh? Yeah.
Oh, yum.
Wonderful back palate. It'll linger in the back of your palate forever. It's wonderful.
All the salivary glands just go.
I think that's why it's so popular in culinary right now.
Four Winds growers produce more than 300,000 citrus trees at their 3 locations every year. Those trees are sold at nurseries in Northern California, in the San Joaquin Valley, and in the Central Valley. Gardeners elsewhere can buy their trees online.
Ed, these are beautiful.
Standard Meyer lemons.
Standard meaning they're trimmed as a tree,
Correct.
not a shrub.
That's right. That's right. We have a trunk that's exposed, and that's really what the designation of standard is now.
Ed, I know Four Winds because of the reputation for dwarf-sized citrus. If I'm going to have a traditional versus a semi-dwarf, how much smaller is a semi-dwarf going to be?
Well, I mean, if you prune it, it can be any size you want it to be.
I know, you're Mr. Pruning Shears.
Oh, please, tell me about it.
But you know, but there's this contribution of the rootstock. I mean, that's a big deal.
Sure, and you could say it probably gets to be about half the size of a standard, non-standard rootstock. But these days, standard may very well mean just an exposed trunk, which you have, you know, a pedestal, and it's a patio standard, or just the idea that you're exposing a trunk may very well have more meaning than a standard rootstock that grows you a tree that's going to be in excess of 30 feet.
So if I want a tree that's only going to be 8 feet tall
Prune
and
it.
8 feet wide, prune it.
Oh, please prune it.
Okay.
Because then you don't have to worry whether or not that tree on that rootstock goes to 12 feet on there. If you want it at 8 feet, keep it at 8 feet.
Well, that requires a little energy and input, and so it's a responsibility.
It's gardening.
I love that.
Some of these more unusual varieties are available only from Four Winds directly. So if you're looking for something unique, Four Winds probably has it. Thanks to Floyd Dillon and his vision of every gardener growing citrus trees. It's pretty easy to understand why citrus is called California's second gold rush. California still produces huge amounts of citrus, both in commercial orchards and in backyard gardens. So the next time you pick up one of these juicy fruits, stop a minute and think about its role in helping to make California the Golden State. I'm Nan Sterman. Thanks for watching.